Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Shamim bin Jaidi with my group members, which are Hairul Anarul Imran, Wan Emilia Natasha, and Fatin Nur Ashikin from Group 11 will present about Piaget stages of cognitive development. So, who was Piaget? Jean Piaget was a Swiss psychologist, and according to Papalia and Feldman 2011, Piaget's contribution to psychology was mainly through his observations of children's cognitive development. So next, we look about Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Piaget argued that children's cognitive development occurs in stages, and he posited that as children's thinking develop from one stage to the next, their behavior also changes, that reflecting this cognitive development. So there are four stages of Piaget's cognitive development, which are sensory motor stages, pre-operational stages, constraint operational stage, and formal operational stage. So first stage is sensory motor stage, which is child from birth to 2 years. And during this stage, infants and toddlers acquire knowledge through sensory experiences and manipulating objects. And under this sensory motor stage, there are six substages. First is reflexes, which is child from 0 to 1 month. The child understands the environment purely through inborn reflexes such as sucking and looking. And second is primary circular reaction, which is child from 1 to 4 months. The child involves coordinating sensation and new scheme. For example, a child may suck his or her thumb by accident and then laterally, intentionally repeat the action. And the third substage, which is secondary circular reactions, which is child from 4 to 8 months. This child begins to intentionally repeat an action in order to trigger a response in the environment. For example, like a child will purposely pick up a toy in order to put it in his or her mouth. And then for stages number 4, which is coordination of reaction, which is child from 8 to 12 months, which is the child starts to show clearly intentional actions and begins to recognize certain objects. For example, like a child might realize that a rattle will make a sound when it is shaken. And fifth stage, which is tertiary circular reaction, which is child from 12 to 18 months, which is children begin a period of trial and error experimentation. For example, like a child may try out different sounds or action as a way of getting attention from a caregiver. And lastly is early representational thought, which is child from 18 to 24 months. And these children begin to move towards understanding the world through mental operations. So, the example for sensory motor stages, which I took from a child at 6 months, which is under secondary circular reaction of substages in sensory motor stage. So it is repeat pleasurable action that involve object as well as actions involving their own bodies. And this example, the child who shakes the toys for the pleasure of hearing the sound that it produces.
So now we go to the next stage, which is pre-operational. The pre-operational stage is one of the Piaget intellectual development stage. It takes place between 2 and 7 years old. At the beginning of this stage, the child does not use operations, so the thinking is influenced by the way things appear rather than logical reasoning. So now I will tell you about the 5 characteristics of the pre-operational. Number 1 is ability to internally represent the world through language and mental imagery. Number 2 is ability to make one thing, such as a word or an object, stand for something other than itself. Number 3, a child's thinking is dominated by how the word looks, not the how the word is. Number 4 is the child have difficulties with class inclusion. He can classify object but cannot include object in subset. Number 5 is this is the tendency for the child to think that non-living objects such as toys have life and feeling like a person. By 2 years, children have made some progress toward detaching their thought from physical world. However, have not yet developed logical or operational thought characteristic of later stages.
Nipong Sia. Sama tak? Sama. Okey, sekarang cik dah tukar. Ni sama. Ni pun sama. Okey. Buat mana paling banyak sini? Buat apa? Besar. Sebab besar? Buat ni sikit? Kecil. Sebab kecil? Ni. Sama banyak ke tak ni? Sama. Air ni. Buat sama saat ni. Cik dah bubuh dalam air gelas. Gelas. Cawan tinggi. Okey. Sekarang ayah tengok. Mak mana satu banyak? Mak ni banyak. Mak ni? Berapa sikit?
The next stage of PIAGET's theory is from 7 to 11 years old child. This stage is called concrete operations period. The concrete operational stage describes an important step in the cognitive development of children. According to Piaget, thinking in this stage is characterized by logical operations such as conservation, reversibility, or classification, and allowing logical reasoning. The word concrete refers to anything that is tangible, which can be seen, touched, or experienced directly. The concrete operational child is able to make use of logical principles in solving problems involving the physical world. For example, the child can understand principles of cause and effect, size, distance, and value. The child can use logic to solve problems tied to their own direct experience, but has trouble solving hypothetical problems or considering more abstract problems. The child uses inductive reasoning, which is a logical process in which multiple premises believed to be true are combined to obtain a specific conclusion. Now, let's look at the example from the experiments done. I poured 100 ml of water into the exactly same container. Then, I transferred one of them into a thin but taller container. And I asked her whether the volume is still the same. She answered yes, because it is only transferred from another container, not affecting the volume of water. Next, I showed her a piece of 50 ringgit and 3 pieces of 10 ringgit and asked her to choose. As you can see, she picked the 50 ringgit because the value is bigger. Same goes to this boy. He chose a piece of 50 ringgit instead of 3 pieces of 10 ringgit because of the value. That's all from this thing.
Okay, hi. So today we are learning the formal operation stage. So for the stage, begins 12 years old and above. The person in this stage has ability to use logic and deductive reasoning. They also can think more systematically using theories and probabilities. So in this stage, the person has 4 specific skills such as deductive reasoning, abstract thought, problem solving, and metacognitions. So for the deductive reasoning, maybe they have the idea about something, they can have the observation, and they make the conclusion. For example, all teachers are strict, Mr. Ali is a teacher, and the conclusion is Mr. Ali is a strict person. So for the abstract thought, maybe they have something to know about superpower. They want to have a third eye and so on. So they can have a different thought and different way between the other stage. For the problem solving, in this stage, the person will have something more good ideas to solve some problems in their life. Maybe using logic or theories. So for the metacognition, they use it shows the thinking about the thinking. They use the others' thinking to make it the effective way to solve the problem. So I will show you the example.
Okey, saya akan berikan awak dua soalan untuk dijawab. Yang pertama, Ahmad lebih laju daripada Acong. Acong lebih laju daripada Mutu. Siapakah yang lebih laju?
Ahmad.
Ahmad. Okey. Okey, untuk soalan kedua, jika anda diberikan superpower, apakah superpower yang anda inginkan?
Halimunan.
Sebab?
Sebab saya seorang introvert. So bila saya rasa saya tak nak bergaul dengan orang, saya nak hilangkan diri daripada